We know the story in the tale, and we talked about it, and Moses was saved by, as Allah wants it, and Allah's the best of planners. He was picked up and taken into the house of Pharaoh and raised in the best of situations. And when he got to the point of being a little bit older and realizing what was going on and realized he was connected to the children of Israel and that he wasn't from their bloodline in the house of Pharaoh, he went through some personal situations, but he grew up in the house of Pharaoh. He grew up as the best of the best, learning and seeing and knowing, and he was put in charge of some very important things while he was there, and this is how Allah plans these things, right? I mean, this is the way Allah works, but all this is there for you in the story if you pay attention to the details. But Moses had to leave, and we know that he then went out into the desert and ended up finding some of the other descendants of Abraham, who were also following the one true God still, and he ended up marrying and spending some time in the Mount Sinai area, and is there where he was called to Mount Sinai, and it was at that point that Moses gets chosen. Well, obviously Moses was already chosen, and the Lord Most High knows as part of the Articles of Faith, right? All of this is by the plan and Qadr of Allah, but I mean, it was that point that Moses gets chosen for his experience, right? And he goes to the mountain, and there's some very important things. He sees the burning bush that Allah lights for him to show him this bush in the middle of the mountain is just having what? Fire. A symbol there, right? And so Moses goes to see what is this fire, and when he gets there, he has been doing what in the desert times? He's been, tending sheep and doing what all prophets at some point in their life do, which is tend sheep and learn how to take care of a flock. And that's important in this story. But Moses is out there tending sheep, and so he has his little, his asa, his staff, and he climbs up Mount Sinai because he has been trying to figure out what the heck just happened. I mean, you see some of the depictions of Moses. He's out in Sinai, and he's married, and he has the best of situations because he's welcomed in the tribe of believers, and he's treated as such a good person because he's so able and knowledgeable, and he's a strong man, he's healthy, and he gets married, and he has children. But he, spiritually and mentally, he's so disturbed that his situation is like this, and he wants so badly to know the truth. Again, back to our story when we said, I'm going to be telling you this story, and included in there is the truth. And the truth is very difficult. If you're searching for it, you have to truly be searching for it. And if you're listening and God blesses you with the moment, then you get guidance, and only then do you get it. Sometimes you could hear the story 1,000 times, and you don't understand it. You could be listening to me and think this sounds like quackitude. But when it is the time for you to hear the story and understand it, then there's the moment. And so Moses has this moment when he is able to figure out the truth. And so how does the situation play out? Well, Moses goes to the mountain, and he sees the burning bush. And he starts to speak to Allah, or even more importantly to say, Allah speaks to him. Allah speaks to him. I mean, it's just such an amazing thing to say that he actually gets to speak to Allah. That's one of the beauties of Moses. It's what makes Moses one of the great prophets. I mean, as Muslims, like I said, one of the things that we believe as Muslims is people always are confused, and one of the misconceptions, like I said, I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to dispel to you the myths. They'll tell you all kinds of crazy things that Muslims believe, and what is it that I told you Muslims believe? La ilaha illallah. There's only one God, right? And the articles of faith are always the articles of faith. All of this is going to happen, and all of this has been destined, and there's books and angels, a day of judgment, and all that we've spoken about. But Moses gets to actually go and speak to Allah. And so as Muslims, we always revere Moses as one of the greatest prophets, and we call him Kalam Allah, the one who spoke to God. I mean, that's just amazing. And Allah tells him what? I'm your Lord thy God. I'm your Lord thy God. And Moses doesn't understand. So God tells him to throw down his staff, and it turns into a snake. And so he sees this power. What is this? And then God tells him to take his hand and put it into his breast. Right? And some narrations all the way under his armpit. And when it comes out, somehow God turned it so that his hand had like the light. His hand glowed. His hand had the light. And also what else? For one of the first thing that God tells Moses, what? Take off your shoes. This is holy ground that you pray on. This is area to pray on. It's holy ground. Right? This ground is where people worship the Lord Most High. So don't soil it. Right? It's an important little part of the story. And so Moses is blessed, and Moses is so happy, right? But like in all the stories I told you, like you get the blessing and you get the truth, but the truth has a burden. The truth has a burden because once you know it, then you find out the truth that you're supposed to be doing something. So straight away God tells them, hey, now you know the truth. By the way, you've got some work to do. What do you mean, O Rabb? What are you talking about, Allah? You got to go back. You've been wondering this whole time what was it all about, and you want to know who God really is? Now you know, and you think what? You think you get to just chill out, relaxing, get to do nothing? No, you got to go back, right? Every prophet had to do what? Every prophet has to confront his people. Every person who wants to tell the truth of the story has to confront their people, right? Adam with his own sons, and they wouldn't believe. Noah with his son, and his wives, some of them, and the rest of the whole world. Abraham and his dad, so messed up, right? Ibrahim, what? Challenged with his wife. Throw out there in the middle of nowhere. Ismail, go sacrifice him. Ibrahim's example, though, is different. Why? Because he said, oh Allah, he begged for so long that my people, okay, don't test me like the other people. I want my people to be hardcore. I want my bloodline to be good. And so his both sons were like straight up from the beginning, knowing the truth. So he had different tests where he almost had to sacrifice Isaac. He almost he almost had to sacrifice Ishmael, his firstborn from Hagar, important reference point, and Isaac being later, when Sarah couldn't bear children for so many years. I mean, they went through those trials, but his children were born pure and never disbelieving. So his family was good in that way. But Moses, God tells him, you're going back. Going back where? Going back to Pharaoh? Oh, no, not to Pharaoh. That's like the worst place in the world. They're all totally messed up. They're like the most pagan of the pagan. And they've got all the messed up sorcery, black magic, alien technology, all kinds of nonsense. Some of their early pharaohs were reptoid, green skins. Well, Moses doesn't doubt the job, but he knows it's going to be hard. This is one of those conditions where Moses is cooler than any other of the prophets in this special way. Not cooler that he is superior, but cool in the sense that he understood his family. He's like, hey Allah, since we're talking, and I'm going to be going back to Pharaoh, how about some backup, right? I mean, seriously. What? He's like, my brother, can you deputize him? Moses asked for Aaron, his brother, to be deputized and make him a prophet. Allah's like, fine. You know, because Moses had the problem, like I said earlier, he had a problem with communication. And you want to go communicate to the people and tell them this story, you know. he's going to have some difficulty. So he said, fine, your brother's a good talker. We deputize your brother and make him a prophet. That's why it's known amongst the Muslims that the best brother to another brother is Moses, right? I mean, the guy says, oh Allah, make my brother a prophet. Deputize him in the battle. By God.